parks in the state. We just now hired, David Goodman just hired somebody to market that. That's going to be combined with what Les does to tell the story. Jim is very involved in making sure that Lake Erie does not deteriorate, making sure that we can get our farmers to cooperate so that we can deal with things like algae bloom to preserve that. That's a miracle up there. You ever go up I go up to Lake Erie, I'm as excited now as I was when I was 10 years old. It's fantastic. And Jim is working on all of that. The M&M boys, Moody and McCarthy. Bill, the growth in Medicaid was less than 3%, with nobody coming off the rolls and no benefits cut. Now you can cut. You can say to a kid, you're not going to get eyeglass coverage. You can say, you're not going to the dentist. We can't pay for that. You want to do that? I don't. So they figured out a way to actually pay their bills accurately. They figured out a way, and you remember I went through the whole business of letting mom and dad stay in their own home rather than being sent to a nursing home. That was another big fight we had in the legislature. Legislature keeps dumping money into that program. I just keep killing it, and we'll keep doing that. And the program of the old way, we're not doing that anymore. These guys know it, but you know, they do their thing, and we don't want to shortchange nursing homes. If you're going to be in a nursing home, if you need it, we want you to be there. But Bonnie Cantor said if you're going to be in a nursing home, it's not the military. You're going to eat when you want. You're going to be treated with respect. You're going to have a life of independence as much as you can in that nursing home. But if we can let mom and dad stay in their own home, don't we want to do that? Where they're healthier, they're more independent, they're happier. And that's exactly what we're doing in Ohio. Those things, all these things together, have allowed us to control our Medicaid rate. Yes, we are bringing our money back for 4 reasons. 26,000 veterans do not have health care. It's unconscionable. They fall in a place where they don't get any help. Now by bringing our dollars back, Ohio dollars back to our state to deal with our problems, they're going to get help. The mentally ill, what we have done with the mentally ill in this country is a disgrace. We took them out of the institutions, and where do we see them? They're in our prisons. Gary's not here, right, today? Gary Moore, who's a visionary on the way to deal with prisons and crime. He is a visionary. I think he's one of the great leaders in America on this subject. I called Bill Bratton, who's going to be the New York City police chief, years ago, and I said, tell me what we do about prisons. He said, we don't know what we should do about them yet. Well, we now know what we're doing about them, and Gary Moore's leading the effort. 10% of his population are people with mental illness. If you put a schizophrenic in a prison, it's not right. So now we're going to have the resources we need, Tracy. We're going to have the resources we need to begin to deal with the problems of mental illness in our communities. And God forbid that any of you have your sons or daughters come home for Christmas vacation and to find out that your daughter's up in a room for a couple hours, find out she's bipolar. Well, we'll treat it. We can fix it. But you can't fix it without doing the things you need to do and have the resources you need. Tracy came to my office when we were thinking about what we were going to do on Medicaid, and when I told her we were going to move forward, she went outside and burst into tears, thanking the forces that are involved in this government to help those folks. Drug addiction, Batch mentioned opioids. So now that we have cracked down on opioids, give Mike DeWine credit for this, give Steve Bureau at the Bureau of Workers' Comp credit for this. We're beginning to win that battle. Shut down pill mills. You know what a pill mill is? It's like McDonald's. You go through and get your pills, okay? Without any regard to your long-term health. So we've shut the pill mills down. And we have prosecuted doctors for the first time because we have a medical board now that's extremely serious about violations. We're winning that battle. John Bourne and his highway patrol have busted more people transporting drugs to the state than any time in Ohio history. Is that correct? And now we're beginning to see the artery, the flow of drugs to our state moving. They come into this state, we're going to bust them, and we're going to put them in jail, period. And this has been terrific. Not good enough. Do you know that the problem of drug addiction is everywhere? You know that. People, our young people have moved from OxyContin to heroin. And it's everywhere. And it breaks your heart. And someone gets caught in that trap and they get out. Yeah, they can get out, but it is not easy to get out. It threatens to destroy families and destroy lives. And God-given purpose. So now, come soon, beginning of the year, you're going to hear about a program we're taking to every school, to all the parents across the state of Ohio. It's already started, 5 Minutes for Life. The Highway Patrol meeting with all of our sports teams so they can go into the school and talk about the dangers of drugs. And we need to give them a reason to say no. Just saying no doesn't work. Dick Ross, when he was superintendent in Reynoldsburg, Dick Ross used to tell the football players, we're going to drug test you on Sunday. He wasn't going to drug test them, I don't think, but he told them that so that when they went to the party on Saturday night and somebody was passing around pills, the football players had a reason to say, I can't do it. We have to give our children a chance to say no, and when mothers and fathers talk to their children extensively about drugs, there is a reduction in usage. You're going to hear about a big program. It's exciting. Bonnie and Dr. Winslow and Orman Hall and Tracy Plow, Dick Ross, that's the other thing, this cabinet works together. No reason for ego or boundaries or turf. We're going to work together. And it's a great program that's going to come forward, folks. So you're going to see the mentally ill treated better, the drug addicted, and the needs that the local community serve. The working poor are now going to have rational health care so that they don't end up in the emergency room where they get the most expensive and least effective care. And the M&M boys are back at it again. Because now what we are looking at in this state is a big idea called payment reform. In other words, let me give you an example. If we gave money to the children's hospitals and they are working to reduce the amount of hospital visits by kids that have asthma. You know what happens when a hospital has fewer hospital visits? They get less revenue. And they get less revenue, but the insurance companies get more revenue, right? So why don't we get the hospitals and the insurance companies to work together to treat people, to keep them healthy, and to move away from episodic treatment into a holistic approach, including the medical home, which is the brainchild of our director of the Department of Health, so that people can understand how to get treatment, how to get care, how it's coordinated, and all of that can lead to a place of more reform that is necessary to control healthcare costs. We are working with the private sector. Moody and McCarthy are doing a fantastic job. You will hear a lot more about this program. This is a fundamental change in the way we deal with healthcare, a fundamental way in the way in which we are going to treat people. And it is exciting. And in case you want to know a Republican alternative to Obamacare, which does not deal with costs, pay a visit to the M&M boys. They'll tell you what it's all about.